Hello, good people. Welcome to Raw Vegan Rising. My name is Shane Sterling. How are you doing today? Nice to have you on this video with me. Reality check. 5 risks of a raw vegan diet. Those are not my words. This is not my title. This is the title of a Google article I come across every single time I research raw food. It bothers me so bad because this article is trying to debunk the raw vegan diet, but instead just really debunks itself because it's just based in half-truths and there's a lot of false information in here. I wanted to talk about this article because this is SEO'd in a way where it comes up. If you're trying to research raw food and learn about the power of raw food, you're going to get articles like this trying to debunk raw food. It's such a disservice to people trying to empower themselves with knowledge about health and how to get ourselves out of the disease-ridden state that we're in. So this is the kind of stuff we have to deal with, sifting through this garbage information online, trying to keep us in the mainstream narrative that limits us and fools us into thinking that we're so much less than we actually are. Okay, let's take a look at this article. Reality check. 5 risks of a raw vegan diet. On the road to good health, there are many forks. Some paths, such as vegetarianism or the Mediterranean diet, have considerable science supporting them. Others, such as the vegan or plant-based diet, which shuns all animal products, including eggs and dairy, are winning converts. And then there's a new offshoot, the raw vegan diet, which deems cooking to be unnatural and unhealthy. New offshoot, the raw vegan diet is ancient, goes back thousands of years. We have documents and manuscripts talking about the power of raw food with the Essenes. There's documents in the vaults of the Vatican talking about raw food. Jesus talked about raw food. This goes back thousands of years. The yogis would eat raw food on their spiritual journeys, and monks. I mean, it's absurd to say that the raw vegan diet is new because we've been eating raw foods from the beginning of time, and so does every other species on planet Earth. So it's a little strange that he would say in this article that it's a new offshoot. Let's continue reading. But on the road to good health, the raw vegan diet would likely be a U-turn. If you are already vegan or vegetarian, you have nothing to gain and much to lose by going totally or even mostly raw. Even doctors who prescribe and live by a vegan diet caution their patients against attempting a raw diet. The reason? You would greatly reduce types of foods you can eat. Greatly reduced types of foods you can eat, like animal products and processed food. Every other food known to man can be eaten raw, except really animal products and processed foods. Cooked foods like animal products and processed foods are the only foods that are eliminated on the raw vegan diet, so we don't really have much to worry about there. And you would do so in vain because most of the raw vegan principles are based on misconceptions about human nutrition and work counter to good health. This article addresses 5 such principles that are either half true or completely false. Oh yeah? Okay, let's see what these false principles are. Okay, misconception number 1. Cooking destroys nutrients. Sure, raw foods can be nutritious, but cooking breaks apart fibers and cellular walls to release nutrients that otherwise would be unavailable from the same raw food. Cooking tomatoes, for example, increases by 5-fold the bioavailability of the antioxidant lycopene. Similarly, cooking carrots makes the beta-carotene they contain more available for the body to absorb. So any bioavailability that is gained from cooking is small and insignificant to the vast majority of what is lost when we cook vegetables. When we cook vegetables, we denature the fiber. We evaporate the water. We destroy the minerals and the nutrients and the phytochemicals that are a delicate balance just the way Mother Nature creates. We also lose hope, an acronym for hormones, oxygen, phytonutrients, and enzymes. And we can't underestimate the fact that Mother Nature makes these foods in an exact, precise balance of chemistry that is perfectly designed for our body. And when we cook the foods, we alter that chemistry, therefore altering the way our body knows how to utilize and make use of those foods. Now, if we look at our society today, we see a lot of disease, we see a lot of mental illness, and all of this could be related to the way we prepare our food. Admittedly, some nutrients are lost in cooking, such as vitamin C and certain B vitamins, but plants are so excess in nutrients that even this breakdown is insignificant in practical terms, said John McDougall, creator of the McDougall program, a vegan-friendly starch-based diet. And even though some nutrients are going to be still in abundance when cooking, it breaks down the very subtle balance of chemistry that Mother Nature has created for us. So to think that we can improve on Mother Nature indicates an arrogance in the human mind and attitude, thinking that we can improve on nature. And yes, cooking does condense the food and concentrate the calories. And as opportunistic beings like we are, we're going to be opportunistic for the calorie density, and any animal would. But with our full intelligence and our ability to make connections and our ability to grow past just base survival as animals on planet Earth, we actually can look at the advantages and disadvantages either way and make an intelligent choice because we have those faculties within ourselves. So we can say to ourselves, well, why would we want to lose all the hormones and oxygen and enzymes and phytonutrients when we don't have to gain a little bit of this or a little bit of that? And vitamin C is critical. We lose virtually almost all vitamin C when we cook plants. So it's definitely not an advantage to cook vegetables for a slight gain in bioavailability when we're destroying everything else that Mother Nature has created for us. Misconception number 2, cooking destroys enzymes. This one is absolutely true, but it doesn't matter. Yes, heat destroys enzymes, but humans make their own digestive enzymes to break down large food molecules into smaller ones. The raw enzyme logic itself breaks down when you consider that most humans cook food and that most humans are digesting that food reasonably well. Reasonably well, look at the disease in our society today. Humans are struggling with the food that we eat massively. And if you look at animals in nature, they don't struggle with the foods they eat at all. They're eating their species-specific diet in the form that it was intended to be eaten in by Mother Nature for them over billions and millions of years of evolution. So why would we question that Mother Nature has our best interests at heart? Of course it does. And our body, of course, produces enzymes to break down food, but there's a limited amount of enzymes that our body can create in our lifetime. So the natural living enzymes that are in foods are critical for the digestion process. That's why all living animals, 180 million species on planet Earth, eats raw food, because it's designed for our biology in the highest form. So misconception number 2, cooking destroys enzymes. He says this one's absolutely true. So that's hardly a misconception if it's true, is it? Misconception number 3, raw foods are detoxifying. Dietary detoxification is an alternative medicine concept with little scientific credibility. Alternative medicine concept. Well, the mainstream allopathic narrative that comes down through the pharmaceutical companies and the big corporations that want to control our mind and control our health and control the way we think and control the way we spend our money would love us to believe that we cannot be empowered with our health, that we have no control how to detoxify these, glyphosate and Roundup and all these pesticides and chemicals they put on our food on our own. No, we are completely powerless in the face of these big corporations that want to poison and mind control us. So detoxification is absolutely within our control and it's absolutely real. And it would only be spoken by someone who's never done a juice fast or never done any detoxification in their life. Most likely that's spoken by someone who eats animal products on a daily basis and doesn't want to have to think about changing their dietary habits and doesn't want to think about detoxifying their body because it's difficult to make changes and they don't want to. So they're, essentially throwing a little tantrum saying, well, that doesn't exist. That's an alternative medicine concept that's not real, when in fact they have no personal experience with it whatsoever. I'm a detoxification specialist. I help my clients with detoxification every single day. And I guarantee you it is absolutely real. It's how we cure ourselves of diseases. It's how we heal things like cancer in our life. It's how we heal our mind, body, and soul. It's how we get out of the matrix. It's how we empower ourselves on a spiritual level. Detoxification carries us through the steps of how to empower ourselves. And we actually don't even need to exert willpower all the time. We can simply let detoxification do the work for us. If we're still craving bread and the smells of our cooked food past and the smell of cooking meat still, if that still entices us into having cravings and sensations of wishing we could eat those foods, it's because we haven't detoxified our body. It's because we still have the meat and the bread in our body. When we detoxify off of alcohol, alcohol doesn't smell good anymore. The same goes for cooked foods. When we detoxify off of these foods that are not good for us, like cooked meat, for instance, the smell of that cooking meat no longer is appetizing to us. But not at first. It takes detoxification to help our body learn this on a cellular level. All right, misconception number 4, raw veganism is healthful. Healthfulness when eating a raw vegan diet is a challenge. It's not inherent. Many on the diet do lose weight by consuming fewer calories, but consuming fewer calories is completely within our control, and it has nothing to do with health, whether we're choosing to eat enough calories or not. But weight loss should not be the ultimate goal. The most apparent problems are nutritional deficiencies, particularly for vitamin B12 and D, selenium, zinc, iron, and 2 omega-3 fatty acids, DHA, and EPA. Without taking supplements in pill form, it would be very difficult, and for B12, impossible, to obtain a sufficient amount of these nutrients from raw plant-based foods. This is absolutely untrue. I know people personally who have gone and got blood tests after years of being vegan and have perfect B12 levels. B12 is synthesized in our gut by microorganisms, bacteria that grow in the garden and in the soil and in the compost. If we're eating natural organic foods that come from Mother Nature that are unsprayed and unsterilized, we are naturally going to have adequate B12 levels. We do not need to take B12 supplements as a vegan, although if we are B12 low in B12, we certainly can take B12 supplements to mitigate any problems. But 40% of all the population, meat eaters included, is deficient in B12. That's not a vegan issue. That is a food supply issue. And as long as we're drinking water out of the springs or the wells, we're playing in the dirt, playing in nature, gulping down seawater, growing organic food in the garden, we're going to get adequate B12. Vitamin D is synthesized in our body from the sun. Selenium, zinc, and iron all come from green leafy vegetables and nuts and seeds, chia seeds and flax seeds and lentils and Brazil nuts and spinach and kale, all of these. Omega-3 fatty acids, DHA, is made in our body from ALA. All we have to do is eat omega-3s in raw vegan sources like chia, flax, hemp, walnuts, almonds, and our body will make DHA for us. We don't need to take supplements of DHA. We just need to get adequate vegan sources of ALA and we're going to be fine. So all of these nutrients that are mentioned here in this article saying that it's a misconception and raw veganism is unhealthful is absolutely not true, easily proven untrue and debunked from my own personal experience, the experience of all my clients, the experience of all the raw vegan doctors around the world, and there are many. So I don't really think that has debunked anything. And quite the contrary, it kind of debunks itself, realizing that this person has not done adequate research into understanding the nature of nutritional deficiencies and what the deficiencies are truly caused from. Okay, let's take a look at this. Quote, "The problem with the raw food diet is where do you get your energy food?" asked Caldwell Esselstyn of the Cleveland Clinic, the doctor who convinced Bill Clinton to adopt a plant-based diet. Quote, "You'll get it from pouring down nuts," he said, "and these are high in fat and not healthful when eaten in excess. If it's not nuts, then it's bananas, which are healthful perhaps at a level of 1 or 2 per day, but not when providing the majority of our calories." Who says we can't get our calories from other sources from bananas and nuts? My goodness, that's absurd. There's an abundance of fruits on this planet. I mean, how many varieties of fruits are there? Even in our mainstream grocery stores in North America in colder climates, we can still have an abundance, a plethora of fruit options that are available year round. I mean, bananas are the least of it. I mean, personally, right now, I'm eating tangerines and oranges coming into season here in Northern California because it's December and the citrus is just delightful. And every turn of every season, there's a new influx of all the seasonal fruits that come in. We don't have to rely on bananas for our energy food. It doesn't make any sense. Someone like Caldwell Esselstyn should know that you get energy from all of your food, proteins, fats, and carbs combined, not from just bananas. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know if these are taken out of context or what, but it doesn't sound like a quote from somebody that knows anything about health or diet or nutrition. Vegans would have to ask themselves what the added benefit would be from going raw if the diet offers no additional moral satisfaction other than a reduced use of cooking fuel. No additional moral satisfaction, like treating our body like the temple that it truly is, not putting dead cooked foods in our body that don't serve us. Mother Nature designed our body. Mother Nature designed the food for our body. We can't improve on that. We can't improve on the subtle structures of chemistry that are in the food. It's absolutely arrogant, and it's a great misservice to ourselves to think that we need to eat animal products and processed foods to be healthy, when in fact it really makes us struggle desperately. And we don't realize where the struggle is coming from, and we get very confused. And we think that we're supposed to eat foods that have been traditional to make us healthy, when it really makes us struggle. The additional moral satisfaction is that it lights up our mind, it creates connection. Intelligence is measured by our ability to make connections. And eating raw food helps us make connections. Therefore, it makes us more intelligent. And it makes us more sensitive and more intuitive and more in tune. And we can feel the connectedness of everything around us, like the plants and the animals and our fellow humans. We can become more on purpose in our own life, therefore serving life better. Because when we take care of ourselves, we're going to take care of others. And then we're taking care of the world. So moral satisfaction comes from being on purpose, being in alignment, being connected, being spiritually focused and spiritually oriented. There's a lot more moral satisfaction to raw food than just reducing cooking fuel. Misconception number 5, raw-only foods are natural. Well, if they're not natural, what are they then? That's silly. Quote, no other animal cooks food, many a raw vegan has stated. One can just as well say that no other animal combines their kale and clover with tropical bananas in a high-speed blender to make the foods more palatable and digestible, or that no other animal plays chess. But we have discernment, we have technology, we have advancements, we have an understanding of where we've been, where we want to go, and how we want to craft our life for the future to live at our highest potential. So of course we can utilize the power of a blender if we need to. We can utilize the power of our intellect to say, I shouldn't be eating animals because that doesn't serve the future of the future generations, my kids and their kids. It doesn't serve the ecology, the environment. It doesn't serve the animals. It doesn't serve planet Earth, and it doesn't serve humanity to eat animals. So we have the intellect to make that correlation. Judging what is natural is a slippery slope. Humans around the world live to relatively similar ages on a multitude of different diets. Most of the reasonable diets that consist of grains, vegetables, and meats will get you to at least age 70 if an accident or infectious disease doesn't kill you first. A traditional animal-based diet eaten by natives of Siberia is just as natural as a traditional diet eaten by unnamed tribes in the Amazon. But we still have the choice to make ourselves healthier than we would be if we were just going on tradition alone. In fact, a child on a raw vegan diet without proper supplementation would likely develop severe neurological and growth problems due to a lack of vitamin B12 and other nutrients. It's absolutely not true. I know children who are raw vegan who are absolutely thriving, eating our species-specific diet, eating the foods that Mother Nature intended for our biology, And if we are not getting adequate B12, we can certainly take a supplement, and then there's no risk of nutrient deficiency whatsoever. So I don't really see how that is debunking the raw vegan diet, because there's really no concern as long as we're paying attention to what we're doing and making sure that we're eating a wide variety of nutrient-dense foods to satisfy all of our nutritional needs. It's very easy to do on a raw vegan diet. This myth busting is not intended to belittle the much maligned raw vegan, but rather to inform rawists of the realities of this challenging diet. I would suggest that the raw vegan diet is not challenging once you understand that it's about detoxification. Once we go down the path of detoxification and clean our GI tract out completely, it almost happens for us. It's detoxing out the chemicals, detoxing out the meat and the gluten and the bread and everything we've eaten our whole life, so we no longer crave it. We no longer think of it as food. We can flood our cells with the living food, the living juices, the phytonutrients and the enzymes that truly fuel our body. So it's not challenging once we've gotten past the first challenging step, which is detoxification. That's why I encourage everybody to try a juice fast. That's why I encourage everybody to take a step toward detoxing their body off of meat, off of animal products, off of processed foods, off of grains. It's absolutely miraculous. If you want to know more, you can go to my Amazon store where I sell all the tools that I use, the blender I use, the juicer I use, the sprouting jars that I use, the supplements that I take. I have it all laid out so people can see exactly what I do and what I need to thrive as a raw vegan. So you can go to amazon.com/shop/rawveganrising and see for yourself how I thrive as a raw vegan. And if you need support in understanding how to thrive as a raw vegan yourself, I have my group coaching membership called Raw Vegan Heroes. The hero goes from the known world to the unknown world. It's a personal development journey. So we create a new normal. If we're struggling with health problems, we go on a journey to discover how to heal, to create the new normal. The hero goes through the calling phase where they're called to a better life. The spiritual destiny is calling them. Then there's the crisis where they meet their deepest fears. They meet the problems that stop them. Okay. And then they progress on to find the new normal and to come home to themselves in the spiritual empowerment journey to realize who they truly are. Every hero's story ends with coming home to the self, to the new normal. It's very powerful. So go to my website, rawveganrising.com/membership to check out my group coaching program. Thank you so much for being on this video with me. I hope this was helpful. I appreciate you taking the time to listen, to understand the power of the raw vegan journey. Thank you so much. Give this video a thumbs up. See you in the next one. I just wanted to add how derogatory and disrespectful this article is. He's saying misconceptions, but then he says cooking destroys enzymes, but it's absolutely true. It does destroy enzymes. There's no misconceptions whatsoever. Basically, the guy's just being a jerk, and he's addicted to meat and dairy and animal products, and he doesn't want to change anything. Just like the masses out there, they're afraid of change. They don't want to eat smoothies instead of steaks because they're addicted to steak. So it's a real problem on a very deep level for humanity to embrace the truth around what makes us sick and what keeps us really limited in our belief systems, that we have to eat animals to thrive like vampires. It weakens us to rely on animal products. It weakens our biology and how we convert nutrients, how we convert ALA to DHA. All of these things rely on our body to be clean and robust and healthy from eating our species-specific diet. So when we live on animal products, we just get weaker and weaker and weaker, and then we start to defend it, and then we go down the spiral and we descend into the darkness that has a grip on humanity.